What's going on, y'all? Nick here.
How you guys doing? This is me, James, and this we come to you with tragic news, and we're the Eugene brothers.
Yeah, so as you guys could probably see from the thumbnail and title, is conservative Trump supporters versus liberals. America's divided voice over Charlie Kirk's death. So, I'm sure you guys have seen the news all over the place. Um, but in this video, we're going to really break down the reactions from both sides, right? And we're going to see how the death of Charlie Clark is causing major outrage, debate, finger pointing, you name it. And we're just here to really present what we believe to be a balanced approach. First, let's start off with some of the actual news itself, right? So you can see this is coming by way of CBS News. Conservative activists, and let me zoom in, right? This is what we know so far. Conservative activist and Turning Point USA co-founder Charlie Kirk died Wednesday after he was shot at an event at Utah Valley University. He was 31 years old. Wow.
That's
This
young.
man was extremely young. Extremely young. Authorities posted images Thursday of a person of interest and asked the public for help in identifying the individual. Earlier in the day, the Utah Public Safety Commissioner said law enforcement has good video footage of the suspect who has not yet been identified. Law enforcement officials also said the weapon used in the shooting has been recovered and described it as a high-powered bolt-action rifle. A video of the shooting showed Kirk speaking to a large crowd at an outdoor Prove Me Wrong debate, where he invites students to challenge his political and cultural views on the campus of Orem, Utah, when the shot rang out shortly after 12 p.m. local time. Now, before I even go further, I think this is extremely important because this platform of his is essentially the irony of it all, right? Because Charlie Clark is known for going to college campuses and always doing this prove me wrong debate platform, like challenging college students. That's what he's known for, right? So, and I think before I go any further, I think what's worth noting is that Charlie Clark is praised for
Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk, excuse me, is praised for I guess his openness for freedom of speech, which I think for the most part, I think we all agree that should be just a human right. Would you agree, James?
Yeah, so having him pass away, what it does is sends a message that we cannot have civil discourse any longer. That's what it says, the message, right? Regardless if you agree with him or if you disagree with him. That is not my concern. My concern is civil discourse, right? Where people share ideas and think critically. If a person has a different opinion or a different worldview from you, does that merit them to pass away? Does that merit them to get murdered in cold blood, right? My answer is no. If somebody has a different opinion of you, a different worldview from you, we can talk it out, hash it out. Maybe they might be an agreement in the future. Maybe there'll be never an agreement. Maybe we'll just agree to disagree. However, that doesn't justify a man's death. That doesn't at all. Right?
Yeah.
Because now what does that say about freedom of speech? Imagine if somebody is a truth speaker and he's telling the truth. Are we gonna unalive this person too because we don't like what they have to say? You see why this is a dangerous precedent that we're sending, or his passing is actually sending. That's the message that we can't even disagree in civility no more. Then what's the point of having a debate? What's the point of having a discussion? You
Yeah.
see?
No, I agree with you. And for those of you who are joining in, I see Johnny X Torpedo. Bless you. I see Daniel. Shalom to you. Yeah, and shalom to all those who may be coming in later in the live. But yeah, you said it. You said it best, right? So even going back to some of the news, apparently President Trump paid tribute to Kirk, and we're gonna actually watch that video as well. And elected officials on both sides of the aisle swiftly condemned the attack and denounced acts of political violence. So you could see that this is the footage, right? This is the photos that's been released, and they're asking the public, if you know this guy, please report it. If you've seen him, right?
They arrested. They apprehended a guy yesterday, but it wasn't the guy. It was some older gentleman, but apparently he was not. I guess is not. They looking for somebody else as well.
Right. And I think it's worth noting, and there's a reason why I'm saying this, right? Not to fuel any racial tension, but it is worth noting that apparently the suspect is a white male. All right. Now, this is going to come into play later on when we dive deeper into the topic, but I think let's actually break down Trump's video, his address. All right.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory. May God watch over his family. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
So you could kind of see here that essentially, I think what Trump said was actually very key, right? And before I go in, Daniel mentioned that both the people they detained yesterday have been released. Yeah. So this is what's interesting about what Trump said, right? He said that because of the death of Charlie Kirk, his voice is even louder. And I think that that's the irony of it all, right? Like you see, this is the thing, right? And we're going to get into it because we're going to show our compilation. So please stay tuned. There's going to be several videos I show from both sides, both conservative and liberals, but mainly the liberals, right? They go in terms of, attacking this man, Charlie Kirk, for the things that he said in times past, and how this man they are pretty much essentially saying that he was a horrible human being, right? I don't necessarily agree. However, what's crazy about it is that by silencing this man, right, unaliving Charlie Kirk, they've made his voice even louder. They've made him a martyr. So I don't know. Now, again, there is no proof, by the way, which let me also state that, right? There is no proof that the one that actually assassinated Charlie Kirk is conservative or liberal. We can make assumptions, right?
I think what Trump did, he painted the radical left. But if you don't have the suspect, I think that was not well advised to say that, because what you're doing is you're creating an enemy, right? You've divided America politically even further, because now is this right versus left, conservative versus liberalism, right? So it's just like, I don't think that was a smart move, because what happens now, it becomes a gang war. It becomes a political gang war, where it's just like, okay, you hit me, now I hit you. Almost like the book of Romeo and Juliet, right? Like the two families that were fighting, Mercutio got hurt, and then the other family retaliated. So it's not a good look, because now it's just like what you said, Charlie Kirk has become a martyr. For those of you who don't know what it is, think of the Hydra principle. You kill one head, two of them grow in its place. You kill two, four of them grows in its place. So there's many people who are students or watchers of Charlie Kirk. They might take up the mantle, and all you've done is just increase the rage and increase the anger of the right, of Charlie Kirk's following, and they might retaliate in return.
Yeah. It's interesting because FF Kids said, please, we aren't divided. 90% are shook and 10% are demonic. Then Daniel responded saying, I'm fairly left-leaning and I'm shook to my core. So, you see, I think that's the thing, right? I think those who are simply human, right? I don't really want to get into your religious background, your spiritual background, whatever, your political background. If you're just human, I think we all share the same sentiment that does a man deserve to be unalived just because he was sharing his opinion, whether you agree with it or not. You see, because again, that is what we as Americans, that's what we fought for, right? We want the ability. This is why many people, they flee as refugees to come to this country, because they want the ability to simply have the pursuit of happiness, religion, speech, you name it. These are just unalienated, just fundamental rights given to humans, period. So now if you are so soft, if you are so immature when it comes to debate and disagreement, that now you are advocating for a man to be unalived, I think you are right. FF Kids, that's just straight up demonic, period, point blank. But I do want to share some videos because I do believe they are divided, and we're gonna play a bunch of
Oh, yeah,
videos.
that's for sure. America has been divided between political lines. All it takes is just one accident, one incident to cause an uproar. The question is Charlie Kirk's death that one trigger that sends America down this violent path of civil war? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it could be the first step. We don't know.
Well, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna attempt to play a compilation of several videos here, from again both people from both the left and the right, and you're gonna hear their sentiment, because the division I do believe is actually real. Let's check this out.
So Charlie Kirk got shot, and the president tweeted that he's a good man and he's done great things and vengeance shall be his. Although he didn't tweet anything when those senators and their family members got shot because they were Democrats. But I guess I'm supposed to care about this, even though Charlie Kirk is evil and vile and has said evil and vile things and spreads hate and misinformation. Okay. Yeah. May he rest in peace. Oh, he's not gone. Unfortunate. So what's everybody eating for dinner?
You see, so before I'm gonna read some of the comments, right? Because I want to show you that this is not, I think, unique to any one race, right? You can see Linda, all right. From what I can see, it looks like she's a white woman. Saying exactly 100. I don't care. He's gone. You see this man, Sif Smith. What's for dinner? Chicken Caesar salad sandwiches. Salute, right? So these are the kind of things where it's just like there's people that actually agree with what this woman is saying. I mean, and the proof is in the fact that she got 824 likes, right? So this
But
is reaching a lot of people.
Let's deconstruct her words, right?
Sure.
She's furious, and she's furious because President Trump made an announcement that Charlie Kirk passed away, but he didn't make an announcement, and he didn't show that same energy for Democratic senators that passed away. So she's clearly pointing out a hypocrisy or imbalance, right? And she's right to point it out, but at the same time, a person did pass away, right?
Okay.
But this is the problem when we don't have justice. This is the problem when we have unequal balance and measures, because it's just like you want to care for Charlie Kirk, but there are so many people who are affected. You have so many people whose lives are in shambles at this moment that we don't give a voice to. There's so many people that passed away that we don't put on the same level as Charlie Kirk. So it's just like some people who are attached to Charlie Kirk or who is close to him will feel sad, but others who are not close to him, who witness violence every single day, how can they be empathetic towards this situation? That's the real question. And this is the reason why when you exalt one person's life over the lives of other people, that's the imbalance there, where you don't treat every life as equal. It's either all lives matter or none matters. That's how it should be in equality.
Right. Yeah, and please, you guys, please, let's hear your remarks as well. You have Angelica saying cruel remarks, no empathy. No one should have to unlive the way he died, unlive the way he died. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And this is the kind of thing. It's just like, but this is me, and this is where I'm gonna start off. Right, as before we go any further, I want to share one passage of scripture if I can. Right, and hopefully you guys can understand where I stand on this issue, right? If you guys can see my screen, this is from Proverbs 11, and I'm reading verse 1. It says, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. Now, why am I even starting here? The only reason why I'm starting here is because if there's a balance, right, a scale or a spectrum, in this case, you have the left and the right. My issue is that you have really far lefts that's kind of like casually, well, hey, he what's for dinner? I don't care, right? This is not important to me. And then you have to the far right, they exalting the death of simply one man. I was trying to do trying to look for the information, but I'm gonna get into it, and some of the other videos are gonna cover it as well. But there was a school shooting apparently around the same time. I think either the same day or a little bit earlier, and there was no public outcry for this school shooting. Mm-hmm. You see, and this is the kind of stuff we're talking about, where just like, if there's a school shooting, shouldn't we care about the lives of these individuals? But no, they pump up, as you brought up, the death of Charlie Kirk in particular. Yeah. Now, again, I don't want to bring those conspiracy theories, but there is an imbalance. If we're going to claim that we care about human life, then all the lives of humans, whether you agree with them or not, they matter.
That's what I'm saying. It's either all lives matter or all lives don't. That's the only balance there is. You can't be selective and say this man's lives matter, so we should care about his death, right? Now, don't get me wrong. What his death is heinous. It's horrible because it actually weakens freedom of speech and civil discourse, like we mentioned earlier. But at the same time, if you want people to care about his death, then you should care and be sensitive towards all death, because he's not the first speaker that ever got unalive in this manner. There's been countless of speakers in the past that have been unalive for their views.
Well, let's go over more videos, because we have a lot. You have Daniel saying hate sells, and that's absolutely right. Hate sells. Going on to the next video, we're going to see this one.
Being mad at Black people for not caring that Charlie Kirk died is absolutely outrageous. Would y'all expect a Jewish person to care if a Nazi died? No. So why would y'all expect us to care if a Republican died? Especially a Republican that's a Trump supporter that vocally expresses hatred and dislike for Black people. Can we please use our thinking caps? And quick question, did the Republicans care about Martin Luther King's, Malcolm X, and Fred Hampton's family when they killed him, assassinated them? No, they didn't. So why would I care about his family and friends? You get what I'm saying? And please don't get in my comments saying just because white people do it to us, they don't care when they kill us, that we supposed to care when they get killed. Fuck that. Like, why y'all always telling us to be the better person, or turn the other cheek, or don't stoop down to their level, or don't fight violence with violence? Not doing that is the exact reason why we're still in the predicament we are today.
So you can see, and this is coming by way of Real Talk Kwane. You can see some comments on her video saying, I'm never the bigger person. I love holding grudges. Wow, that's crazy. This person says, and if they mad, they, as I'm assuming white people or those who are in support of Charlie Kirk, they said, whoop-de-doo, if you guys could see the image, right? You see someone right here saying, Elliot, he spent his life hating and minimizing others, but gun violence is terrible. So you can see that, again, there's many people that actually agree with what this woman is saying. And I guess her argument stems from the fact that she believes that Charlie Kirk pretty much has said many things contrary to Black people. So why would Black people be so sad over the death of Charlie Kirk? And I'm going to respectfully push back. There are videos we're going to show later on that shows what exactly he did say about Black people. However, I'm not an advocate that Black people should be in support of Democrats neither. I think people have recency bias. I mean, the Democrats historically were the ones that were in support of slavery. You see, they forget this, right? Democrats, liberals, they were the ones who are in support of Planned Parenthood. They in support of abortion clinics. And where are majority of these abortion clinics? In the Black community. Majority of them are in the Black community. Why? Because they definitely trying to get rid of, you could say, lower the Black population. But you see, these are the kind of things now for you to totally forget all of this and say, oh, we need to be in support of Democrats because recently they talk about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and all this other stuff. No, miss me with that. You see, this is the reason why me personally, again, I do lean towards conservative values, but I don't align myself with any of them. And this is why I read that verse before, because again, when you go too far in either direction, you can see wrongdoing on both parts. What's your take, bro?
So the thing is, right, I disagree with her first part. Okay, he supported Trump. Okay, he's a Republican. Okay. So, by that logic, does she want every Republican gone by her logic? Because if you say all of this about Charlie Kirk and his political views, that means you've painted the Republican Party as the enemy. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's the wrong approach. However, everything else that she said to me was logical. You know, like I said before, there's many people in the past that have died and nobody gave a damn about them. You know, and this is where I think we need to split our racial boundaries with our political ideologies and not make them one and the same. Because two things could be correct at the same time, or there should be a difference. You see what I'm saying? So she said, why should Black people care about this? And she has a point. Why should we? Right? Now, we can care on a human level, right? But again, there are so many problems that is happening right now that we simply don't have enough time to necessarily care. You see what I'm saying? Yes, his death is tragic. Yes, his death is unfortunate. We got to be empathetic towards the kids and all of that stuff. But at the same time, if I am going through my own problems, if I'm going through my own personal hell, how can I care about somebody else? You see what I'm saying? If my community is burning down, literally burning down, shall I stop my burning house to help your burning house? You get what I'm saying? So this is why we can't be necessarily selective. His death is tragic, but at the end of the day, there's people who are going through the worst, and they don't have time to worry about that, unfortunately.
Yeah, if I to add on to that, I
honestly think Black people should not even get involved in this. It's because it's none of our concerns. It's none of our concerns.
I agree with you, and you know, here's the thing, right? Here's the link I was referring to before, or the news, where you can see suspect dead, 2 students injured in shooting at Evergreen High School. 1 student remained in critical condition at St. Anthony's Hospital in Lakewood on Wednesday evening. This literally happened yesterday, y'all. The same day, there was another shooting in Evergreen High School. And these are the kind of things, again, when we see things like that, and yet one is blown out of proportion, i.e. Charlie Kirk, and then this is in complete silence. It's just like, what's going on here? But you know, and mind you, I live in Tennessee. I'm a strong proponent for the Second Amendment. You know what I'm saying? Coming from New York, where you know they have no gun rights, I think that's ridiculous. So I trust me when I say I actually understand the conservatives and their support for gun laws. But I also think that there is a way that you could go about voicing your opinions, which we're going to see later on in the video, where Charlie Kirk has certain opinions regarding gun laws, and he says wild things like death is just a casualty for having this law. Okay, now, ironically, you are a victim of the same thing that you were in support of.
Here's the thing about unjust balances, right? Again, remember what I said. It's either all lives matter or no lives matter. That is justice or that's balance. Now it's the same thing. It's either everybody has the right to own bear arms or nobody does. We can't be selective.
But here's the thing, right,
Because
James?
it can't be in New York, don't have any, and then down south they do carry. If it's the United States of America, it's got to be just.
But here's the thing, right? If you eliminate this is the thing, right, y'all? I don't have a gun. Actually, I do, but that's when I'm not in a venue where I'm allowed to take it out. But let's suppose this was a gun, right? The gun doesn't fly into the air and start killing people, y'all. Guns don't work that way. It's the person behind the gun. And why am I mentioning that? Because do nobody ever mention the fact that in England, where, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's England, where they very strict on guns. And guess what? People are still being killed all over the place through knives. So this is the kind of stuff we're talking about, right? When you eliminate the guns, that's not going to stop human violence. You see, again, we're dealing with a mental and a spiritual condition of the people. When the people themselves are sick, they're going to impose their sickness on others. This has nothing to do with guns, yeah. This doesn't. This has to do. Okay, cool.
I'll provide some pushback.
Sure.
Let's say now I hear both sides. Many people that said if everybody had armed weapons, right, it will decrease violence because now everybody's armed. There's a certain level of respect that you must have because you can get clipped at any time because everybody carries arms. This is a sound logical argument. However, let's take this example right now. The school shooting that happened, right?
Okay.
Can you understand the other side of the argument? If nobody was allowed to bear arms, you can easily decrease the shootings of schools as well. So both sides have valid points. If you eliminate every possible weapon for a person, then you won't be able to die in that manner.
But how far do we go? How far do we go? Okay, you're not allowed to have a gun. Now you're gonna say we can't have knives, and then what else? You can't. You see this? Look, bro.
No, but this is what I'm saying about the false balance.
Hold on. And then if you can't have, I grew up literally witnessing my friend in elementary school get stabbed with a pencil. What do we do then? Let's not have no pencils. And then, you see, we could go down a rabbit hole of what we're gonna restrict. And what I'm saying is that it's still not gonna change the sickness of these people.
Yes, but here's what I'm trying to say. Again, it's about the false balance, right? What a balance is equal. Remember, like I said, it's either everybody has guns or nobody has guns.
But that's literally what the Second Amendment is. It's advocating for everyone. Now, these different states, these sovereign states, wait. These sovereign states, they have the ability to pass laws in, i.e. these blue states, and they advocating that you shouldn't have guns. Mind you, most people don't do the research, but in New York, you could actually go have a gun. You could actually own a gun, but you have to jump through many legal hoops in order to get one. And the restriction is so crazy, like conceal versus there's all this, which I don't think is the scope of this video. But I think, again, I'm also speaking to the irony of it all. And again, I'm not necessarily saying I agree or disagree. I'm saying that this is a man, and it's Charlie Kirk, and it's ironic that he was advocating for something, but he is now the victim of the same thing he was advocating for. That's all I'm really saying.
But hold on. But check this out, though. Check this out. Think about it.
You have the last word, and then I'll play the next video.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and many people may not agree with me, but I think sometimes when you advocate for something, when you have such a strong conviction for something, you're supposed to stand 10 toes down and accept the consequences of what comes with your belief, right? There was a Jubilee episode where Jordan Peterson said, faith. What is faith? He said, if you believe in something, you're supposed to die for it. And many people took it the wrong way, right? Many people disagreed with what he says. But in actuality, if you think about it, if the conviction, if your stance is so strong, you're supposed to still stand 10 toes down. And if you die for your beliefs, then so be it. Now, what happened to Charlie Kirk was horrible, but do you think that he died for his convictions? Or was it, or I should rephrase it. Do you think that if let's say if he survived, right? Do you think he would be upset? Do you think he would be like, would he stand 10 toes on his convictions? Would he renege? That's a different discussion. But what do you think? Let's say had he survived it, do you think he would second guess his? Would he advocate for? Go ahead.
I respect the question, but I think that's what makes this conversation even the more sad, because we would never know if his mind could have changed. I mean, the show was called, or the panel, excuse me, was called "Prove Me Wrong." Mm-hmm. So we would never get to live the reality or this alternate timeline where maybe someone could have convinced them otherwise. No, you see, and that's now we could actually say this is where whoever, again, I don't want to assume that it was a leftist. I mean, we could make the assumption, right? The insinuation is there, but this is what makes it sad. But if it was somebody that was a liberal that actually executed Charlie Kirk, that's what makes it so sad, because it's like, damn, through civil discourse, could you not present an argument where it would have been sound enough to change his mind? You see, all we doing is talk. Matter of fact, even on this live, even on this live, James, me and you have disagreed on certain things. What I'm going to do? I'm going to now try to kill my brother? This is what I'm saying. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. People disagree all the time. Bro, how many times us growing up as brothers have we disagreed? Mm-hmm. If you killed me the very first time I disagreed with you, where would we be? Where the hell would we be? I mean, this is what I'm saying.
To be honest, I don't think this was a smart move at all, because given how big America is and knowing the red states versus the blue states, if you go after Charlie Kirk like this, and if it is a leftist, a left liberal that did it, right? Them boys in the red states, they don't care. They'll come after you, because they actually have the right to possess arms, right?
Yeah.
In comparison to these blue states. So I don't think this was a smart idea at all, because all it does is fuels a war. I'm telling you, it wasn't a good thing at all.
Okay. To read some of the comments, you have Mario Mexica say, over here in Tennessee, people talk to each other and they are not loose with their mouth, inviting to one's genital. Okay. Even the police officers talk to you out here, then down to you. And I agree with you, Mario. I absolutely agree with you. I've seen it. This is what I'm saying. Now, there's a lot of fear, I think, for people that live in blue states concerning gun laws. But if you actually are out here, you'll realize, man, these people are extremely respectful. They're extremely respectful. And also, too, the misconception, you can't just willy-nilly buy a gun. You do got to go
hypocrisy, though. Here's the hypocrisy. Another thing, too, is just like, these gangs that have guns, how they get it? How they get it? These neighborhoods and these gangs that have guns, like, they don't manufacture guns. So where are they getting their supplies from? So can you see the injustice there? They're getting it from external parties. They're getting it from Lord knows where. But how is it being brought into the communities if you cannot own guns in these states? So something doesn't sound right, and something is fishy.
Yeah. Little Lake Lodge say, I watched a lot of his stuff over the years. He came off as arrogant and self-absorbed. That being said, what happened to him was very tragic and sad. I hope y'all received him. Yeah, you see, if we could go back to some of the videos, I showed you the perspective of some of the liberals. Let's see, conservative.
Are you happy now? Now Christians in America are losing their life.
And also, just quick note: if you guys are enjoying what you're watching so far, please hit the like button. Please, it really does help the channel. But let's keep going, y'all.
Subscribe.
Because they're exercising the right that our founding fathers gave us of freedom of speech and freedom of religion. The same right that everyone I don't agree with has to say stuff is the same right everyone has. And now that Charlie Kirk's no longer here, then what? What was the reason? What's the purpose of this? You don't have to do that when you disagree with someone. It's called being a grown adult. You have a problem with someone, you talk like an adult. You don't get like whiny, don't get all soft and victim mentality about all this stuff. You don't go take someone's life just because you don't agree with what they're saying with their politics. Like, do you even hear what I'm saying? This country doesn't need politics, it needs Jesus. Lots of Jesus. What is this going to solve now? Not one single, any attempt to do this type of stuff has come from a certain side of the aisle. It's all come from one. It is unbelievable when you disagree with someone to relate it to Nazi Germany. When you don't agree with someone, they're automatically racist. When is it going to stop? Who else is going to have to not be here anymore? As a Christian or anyone that has faith, I don't care what your religion is. This is an attack on religion. Everyone deserves to have the freedom of your personal religion in this country. That is why we fled and became the United States of America. When is this going to stop? When? Is it really worth it?
I disagree.
I don't understand. Can someone explain this to me? If you don't like what I'm saying, please let the door hit you on the way out and unfollow me and block me. I do not care. But if you're not sitting there, I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat, and this doesn't irritate the living crap out of you, then you need more help than you think. If you're celebrating someone losing their life, there's a special layer of hell for people that are celebrating that kind of stuff. I'm done before I say something I regret.
Let's pause.
Yeah.
So again, I think people need to stop. You know, they incorporate so many identities involved. This is not an attack on Christianity. Let's make it clear. It's not an attack on Christianity. It's an attack on Charlie Kirk himself, his views. This is not an attack on Christianity. All right? Because there are many Christians who are vocal about their positions and they have not been attacked. It's Charlie Kirk. That's who the beef is with. That's who the main target. So when he says it's an attack on Christianity, this kind of rhetoric, what it does is galvanizes Christians to be more resentful and to Lord knows what, because we've had so many people in the past that used the banner of Christianity to exact evil on a lot of people. We have the KKK, we have, Christian nationals, even the so-called crazy parties out there, they've used the banner of Christianity in order to unalive massive people. So again, this is not an attack on Christianity. It's an attack on Charlie Kirk. And people need to know the differences. Stop conflating identities. And
yeah, for the sake of time, because I do have to jet, but let's hear some more people. Right? And if you guys can't read it, it says, I really don't give a F about Charlie Kirk, right? So you can see the celebrating that the man was talking about. Here's some interesting.
What's crazy to me is seeing the amount of people on my Instagram feed reposting the same recycled memorial picture of Charlie Kirk. Pray for Charlie Kirk. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. Where's y'all's outrage? Where is y'all's outrage when a shooting happens? And you know what's crazy? I'm right here in Colorado. And you know what happened today right here in Colorado? A mass shooting happened at a Denver high school today. I don't know exactly the number of casualties that have happened. I don't know all the details. But what's crazy is Charlie Kirk's assassination has overshadowed this event today. And Charlie Kirk has never been an advocate for gun control. Charlie Kirk has always been an advocate for Second Amendment and no gun control. So while I'm very sad that this happened to him, I'm honestly not shocked. I'm not shocked. And while nobody deserves this, y'all freaking posting and, oh my God, RIP, RIP, Instagram story after Instagram story of that same picture of Charlie Kirk. Where is the outrage when a school shooting or a mass shooting happens? I don't see nearly as much outrage as some of y'all should be showing. So that's just my 2 cents. That is just my 2 cents. And what's super ironic was Charlie Kirk was shot at or unfortunately killed talking about gun violence. And the last 2 things out of his mouth was pretty transphobic and pretty racist. One remark about gang violence and another about trans people having guns. So what a surprise. And I used to go to school actually at UVU. So I'm shocked that this even happened at UVU because UVU in Orem, Utah is right next to BYU. It's a pretty conservative school. So I'm quite shocked. And I'm really sad for Charlie Kirk's family, but oh well, like I'm at a loss for words because it was a lot to see today, but y'all should be showing outrage over other things. Another mass shooting here in Colorado happened today, and y'all are focused on this and posting memorials about him. Post about actual victims of gun violence. And unfortunately, Charlie Kirk is a victim of gun violence now, but he was not an advocate for gun control. So he died because he voted for policies that indirectly ended up killing him. One more thing. Charlie Kirk has also been caught multiple times on video making fun of gun violence survivors. So he's not a good person. So while he doesn't deserve this, and it's very sad that this happened, he was not a good person. And if people are going to say stuff about him, that's unfortunate. And political violence is horrible. Yet again, it's horrible. He encouraged a lot of political violence. Charlie Kirk is not a good person. End of TikTok.
So, something, and I want to make this quick before we go to the next video. But, I think another piece of irony is that, we have the people on the far left that are mad at Charlie Kirk for his ability to express, his ability of freedom of speech, right? His right to freedom of speech. But what I do find it very ironic is that I'm seeing a lot of people on the far right, that are also engaging in the same form of rhetoric. Like they extremely angry that they have a bunch of liberals celebrating, which I do believe that one girl that was putting up the peace signs, that was disrespectful. And the other one, like, what is there to eat? I think that's disrespectful. But the thing is, like, this is a man who, let me put him back on the screen. He said straight up, like, condolences to the family. He didn't wish that he died this way. However, what was interesting is that, like, if you are mad at this guy, which I thought he was bringing a pretty good balance, right? Then you are also, like, if you try to shut voices like that, you're not doing anything different than what the liberals are doing, right? Like trying to shut the voices of the conservatives. And there's so much irony on all across the board. Like, if we're going to advocate for freedom of speech, the rights need to be able to speak and the left need to be able to speak.
True, that's true. Okay, so you brought up a good point. I don't advocate that people gloat over his death, right? At the same time,
Mario said he sounded way too sugary.
At the same time, no, you brought up a good point. If you advocate for freedom of speech, then stuff like that is going to happen. People are going to gloat. I don't necessarily agree with the gloating, because if somebody on your side passes away, now you give a license for other people to gloat on your deceased members, right? This is the problem with tit for tat, right? But at the same time, freedom of speech. They have the right to express themselves the way they want to. You see?
Yeah.
So
Comments.
you're actually right. So the right is actually hypocritical in, calling out the left for gloating.
Yeah. Yeah. Daniel say, in my opinion, Charlie Kirk was a political enemy, but not a mortal one. And I think that's worth noting because Daniel mentioned earlier in the live that he actually is more leaning to the left. So look at his balance, right? Like he didn't believe that he should have died just because he was a political enemy. Little Lake Lodge said Charlie was fighting for the right-wing billionaire agenda as well. Trump does not care about anyone but himself. Charlie was full on supporting that man. Charlie got exactly what his mouth was bringing against him. He had to see this coming eventually. You can't be as vocal as Charlie and not know your days are numbered. Man, what a interesting point.
The Bible says the life and death is in the power of the tongue, right?
Yeah, agreed.
And Charlie Kirk did say, I believe there was a thing that he said. He did kind of advocate that, if he must pass away, then he must pass away. Something along those lines. He said a couple of deaths is necessary for. He kind of minimized the deaths of people and stuff of that nature too. So he did kind of bring it upon himself.
No, absolutely. If you see this one last video, and then we're gonna do a pivot, but please stay tuned, right? Because this woman says a lot.
I truly hate giving these white supremacists any type of airtime, but this guy here is really getting on my nerves. This Charlie Kirk dude. So I have to give him a clap back for this video he posted.
Black people are allowed to talk about black culture in a way that white culture cannot. For example, black people can go up and say that there's a baby mama problem in black America, and white people are not allowed to say that. Oh, I just did. So what are you gonna do, cancel me? Black people are much easier to be able to say that black individuals, despite being 13% of the American population, commit 55% of the murders. Most white people say that at a job, they would get fired for being a racist. I don't care because I say whatever I want.
Oh, bless your little colonizer heart. You really climbed on the internet and opened your pale mouth and decided to rewrite history in real time like the rest of us haven't been wide awake. The audacity to claim black people have more intellectual freedom while simultaneously gaslighting the entire globe into believing your fragility is under attack. Now that's rich. Irony is so thick, and it might as well pay for reparations. But I'm going to reveal the lie and hypocrisy behind the Olympics that you just won the new gold medalist for. You say black people can talk about black issues, but white people can't. Well, sweetheart, when y'all own CNN, Fox, Time Magazine, Hollywood, Disney, and the banks, and every Ivy League endowment, maybe, just maybe, you can sit out for just one conversation. And while you're pretending to be gagged, your people are in every boardroom, courtroom, war room, media room, pushing propaganda like it's your birthright. If you're so silent, how come the world speaks your language, worships your whiteness, and mimics your mediocrity in music, fashion, and culture? But I'm going to drop those receipts, the historical Holocaust y'all don't want us to talk about. Let's get into these statistics, since you love to throw out black crime rates around like white folks aren't the original terrorists. Let's talk about genocide. 100+ million indigenous people murdered globally via colonization. And how about slavery? Over 12 million Africans stolen, tortured, sold as properties, built your banks, White House, legacy wealth. And what about these serial killers? Oh, you don't want to talk about that, because statistically, over 76% of serial killers are in the U.S. are white. And how about school shooters? Yeah, those white boys, it's about 90% of them were school shooters, right? Oh, and let's not forget global extinction. Yeah, nearly every animal now endangered or extinct, white-led colonizers hunted for sport, fashion, and science. Yeah. And what about environmental destruction? You bulldozed the whole rainforests of this world, dumped oil in oceans, and then said climate change like it was a mystery. And let's not forget, You poisoned your own Europeans during the bubonic plague because y'all didn't believe in using soap. So before you speak on crime statistics, check the colonial body count. Yeah, I want to talk about this irony though. You all want to parent us now? You want to talk to us and talk down to us? You say black folks need to get their act together? Sir, y'all are the original baby's daddies, raping our women, selling our families, and now you're confused about single mothers? Your wives were sipping tea while your children suckled on the breast of black nannies. Did you forget? That's the origin of your wet nurse economy. You stole our families and then had the nerve to blame us for the fracture. That's like robbing a man and breaking his legs and then calling him lazy for limping. And don't come for our music, our art, and our soul. You manufactured the whole hedonism and handed the record deals to those willing to sell their souls for the culture you corrupted. Yeah, you say our rappers don't challenge the rot? You own the labels, genius. But I'm going to connect those dots from the plantation to the Pentagon, baby. See, it wasn't just slavery. It was the war on drugs, the FBI's COINTELPRO, the Tuskegee experiment, redlining, predatory loans, prison labor, Black Wall Street bombings, and forced sterilization. Oh, did you forget that? You all orchestrated the problem, blamed the victim, and then handed out Band-Aids and made that BS, okay? Even your DEI talking points are laughable. White women are the primary beneficiaries of affirmative actions. Did you hear that right? You parade black faces for photo shoots, the poster child, while your HR departments remain whiter than sour cream. We see it. But here's the uncomfortable truth, sweetie. We are the blueprint, not the afterthought. We are not just black. We are the descendants of the tribe of Judah, the royal priesthood you've tried to erase. And you know this, which is why your scientists study our DNA, your historians bury our truth, and your politicians silences our speech. You envy our melanin, our rhythm, our brilliance. So you commodify, crucify, and then cosplay it on TikTok. But guess what? You can't colonize the spirit, baby. Here's the inevitable reckoning truth, and the truth don't die, it rises. So here we are, sifting through your smoke screens, unearthing your stolen stories, and refusing to play nice with lies. You're not silenced, so stop it. You're sobered, and that sobering truth is this. You can't cancel us when we are the original signal, the source of the frequency, the soil from which God made humanity. You call us victims, but we are the verdict, and the jury is back. Your father is the father of all lies, but our father, he is the truth that exposes every single one. I need you to kindly exit stage left because your time on the mic is up. I truly...
Wow. She said a lot. And even in the comment section, I see there's a divide where there's some people. I mean, she said a lot. I don't even want to. I'll leave that one for y'all to sift through. Maybe y'all can watch it again in the playback. For the sake of time.
Hey man, she has an amazing delivery, man. Like for her to go back to back deliver this way. That's an amazing delivery.
No, it is. I mean, she was well spoken. But I see some people saying that, I think I'll read this one comment. Womanati was like, she's a mean lady, but I can't say she vitally wrong. And that's the thing where it's just like people may not like what she said, but there's a lot of things she was saying that was just straight up.
It's not the messenger, it's the message. People gotta get over the messenger. Because the messenger, if you keep looking at the messenger and not the message itself, you're gonna get lost and confused, and you're gonna get hurt, and you're gonna have animosity. But the truth is still gonna hit you.
A woman said, "Stand on your square, Nick. Don't back down." No. Oh, look, bro. Trust me on this one. I see it a mile away. I look. If y'all really want me to be concrete, this is the concrete. I think everything she said was right. Period, point blank. I think everything, if you want me to stand on my square, everything she said, she was right. That's my personal opinion. But for the sake of time, because there's other videos, I would like to actually share this one piece because I think you actually sent me this, right? James, let me see if I can share it real quick. This Instagram one. And before I play it, you see, these are the kind of things I want to present just a different side because
that's the same one that the girl played.
But yours is a compilation of other stuff as well. I think the thing that's interesting about it is that, again, did Charlie Kirk deserve to be unalived just because he's speaking? No. But I do want you guys to understand. Do you understand that that is literally what has happened throughout the angles of time? Martin Luther King was just speaking, unalived. Malcolm X just speaking, unalived. People get killed all the time because they open their mouth. But guess what? When you exercise a liberty, I want you to understand that, as you said, James, death and life is in the power of the tongue. Just understand that. Can you say whatever you want? Can you, like, with this liberty, can you truly say whatever you want and expect no repercussions? Like, if I go around, I want to just say one thing. I just want to say one thing. Like, if I go around to a white neighborhood, as black as I am, my black ass, go to a white neighborhood and I start provoking a bunch of white folk and I start calling out them and, you cracker, and start going down the list. Do I expect myself to walk out of that neighborhood scot-free? Do I expect no scratches, no bumps, no bruises? You guys got to think, man. Just because you have the freedom to say something, can you not use discernment? I mean, even the Bible, again, going back, I think it's in the book of James. It said that tongue is such a small member, but you got to learn to bridle your tongue. It's a world of iniquity. It's full of fire. You can't just say whatever the hell you want. This man has been saying some crazy stuff. Go ahead, bro, because I see you.
No. Having that verse in my mind actually changed my position. Because if life and death are in the power of the tongue, then what he's been saying is reckless. Then whatever happened to him was actually well deserved. If you think about it like that, honestly, and I want people to be unbiased. If what you say can get you unalived, then that means stuff like this is merited. The words that he spoke, the words that he speak, actually warrants this type of behavior. If you really think about it.
I agree.
Because go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, Danny Lyrica said, I agree with you, Nick, 100%. The thing that does it for me is that there are actual people out there that rejoice over this guy's death, quite honestly, because they didn't agree with his viewpoints. And we actually did touch on that, Danny, earlier in the live, and we don't agree with that. That's 100% wrong.
Actually, I changed my position again.
Okay, go ahead.
I changed my position again. If somebody is rooting for your downfall, and if somebody's constantly wants your demise, right? If this person perishes, shall we not gloat and be happy? This person is a tyrant, an agent of destruction, using his words and venom to disparage a whole group of people.
So let's go play the video for the sake of time, because again, when we say that he's been disparaging a group of people, let's actually give them some context, right? So this is someone, that created a compilation of things that he's said. Let's check this out.
It's true because it's like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy.
Let's actually do that. Let's do that again.
To get its act together and stop sleeping around all the time, and it needs to actually have enough.
Why would you?
Because it's true. Because it's like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Because of DEI, it begs the question: when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? Almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily, no one really cares when it's HR managers. No one cared when it was, just kind of paper shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
Okay, everybody, a lot of people are going to be saying happy Juneteenth.
Rewind that.
Well,
Did
that's
you
the
hear what
thing.
he
That
said?
with this particular link, I can't. But go ahead, explain it.
He said it's going to take a couple of deaths every couple of years in order to have our Second Amendment upheld. You see what I'm saying?
I hear you, yeah.
Do you see the words that he's spewing with his mouth? And why? This is why I asked. His conviction, his beliefs actually brought him. I don't want to use karma, but you reap what you sow.
No, I agree.
He literally said it. It's going to take a couple of deaths every single year. That included his death too. He unwittingly actually condemned himself with his own words.
No, I agree. And then here's what's interesting. Mario's asking, are they gonna make this man into a martyr? Question mark. And that's the thing. That I think that's the that's the fundamental question. Like, despite all the deaths, we already discussed that there was literally a school shooting literally the same day at a Colorado, I believe, high school, right? They were totally silent on that incident, but because this one man, Charlie Kirk, had passed away, they're trying to blow it up and they're trying to make him into a martyr. And we're just showing, again, we're not advocating for his death, but when he says the things that he said, are we gonna make this man a martyr? I think that's the question. Like, look at the stuff that he has said. Let's go back, continue on with the video.
It should not be a federal holiday, and I'm on my way to work. Have a good day.
I think this is a prime example of the devil's chickens coming back home to roost. That the chickens that he sent out, the violence that he's perpetrated in other countries, here and abroad, be it 4 children in Birmingham or Medgar Evers or Lumumba in Africa, I think this same violence has come back to claim one of their own. Now, being an old farm boy myself, chickens coming home to roost never made me sad. In fact, it's only made me glad.
Oh, okay.
I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage. But if a person were to come up and say...
Okay, so not even that last clip. Yeah.
He doesn't believe in empathy. It's an made-up word.
So now at that point in time, I mean, for those people like RIP, he already said it's a made-up word. So why are you feeling sorry? And again, I want you to listen to this with a mature ear, because we are not by no means advocating that this man was to perish. That because he said what he said, that he deserves to be unalive. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying that when you speak that way and you are the product of your own, you get what I'm saying, your own speech, what am I supposed to do for that? You see, and this is why I read that verse in Proverbs 1, that a false balance is an abomination unto the Lord. Because you have too many people on the right side, the far right, RIP, oh man, and making this man a martyr. And then you also have people on the left that's rejoicing. Whoa, there's nothing to rejoice. I know you said you changed your viewpoint, but I don't think you need to be throwing up peace signs, dancing, laughing at the guy's death. No, I think it is tragic. But if you go in the middle, you said it earlier on, James, and I love this quote. I've said this so many times. Two things could be right at the same time. The sky can be blue and the grass could be green. They could both coexist. I believe I reserve the right to not care. And I also believe that the way that he died was wrong. I'm in the middle when it comes to this, personally. I want to show you.
Because there's so many things. There's so many things that's so. The way he died was not the proper way that he should die. But we're looking at it from our perspective, right? Because what it does is it causes more divisions, and freedom of speech it kind of dissolves in a sense, right? Because we should be able to have disagreements and not come to death, so to speak. At the same time, we actually saw him reaping the repercussions of his own words and actions. He said he doesn't believe in empathy. He said it's going to take a couple of deaths. So, a lot of things are right at the same time. A lot of things are right. Like, the thing is, if you're on the right, you're going to make this guy a martyr. You're going to feel sorry for his thing. But again, remember, if you're on the other political side, if you're on the other political spectrum, you view this man as an enemy. And this is what I said: when you have somebody oppressing you, right, and they pass away, shall you not gloat and be happy? You don't think the Israelites were happy when they fled Egypt? Or what about Babylon? Think about that. All these oppressors, you don't think they were happy when their enemies fell?
Yeah. No, I mean, good point.
It's a lot of nuance involved in this. A lot of nuance.
Absolutely. I do want to land the plane on one note. I personally, for the sake of just trying to be wise, I'm gonna totally reserve my comment. I'm simply gonna play certain things for you. You come up to your own conclusion. But I do believe what the next thing that I'm gonna present to you all, if you guys could just think about it just a little bit, then perhaps maybe it might sway your opinion when it comes to being too far in either direction, and why I started off the live by saying a false balance is an abomination. Let me see if I can share my screen real quick. All right, guys. I'm sure many of you probably heard of the Epstein files. Matter of fact, before I play this one, let me see if I can show you guys a different one instead. So I don't think it's this one. I think it's this. Let me just show you guys something, all right?
What are the Epstein files? For the better part of a decade, people on all ends of the political spectrum have wanted to know what exactly happened with Jeffrey Epstein, a wealthy, well-connected financier who took his own life while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges in 2019. The few facts that were public, a private jet, a private island, and powerful associates, gave way to the idea that something larger was going on. From there, the idea of so-called Epstein files, client lists, and other evidence that could explain everything took shape, which is why now, after promising to release those files during the 2024 presidential campaign, the Trump administration is facing backlash for saying there is no more evidence to share. But the truth is that outside of the Justice Department, no one really knows if those files even exist. What are the Epstein files? For the better part of a decade, people on...
So I'll play that. So this is the Epstein files, right? I wanted to just inform y'all what the Epstein files actually are. I'm gonna share another video. Again, you guys piece together your own conclusion. But I'm trying to type in right now, Trump on Epstein files, and perhaps you will see what Trump himself have said in times past regarding the Epstein files.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would.
Release the list. Seriously, we need to release the Epstein. That is an important thing.
Will you work with me on this issue so we know who worked with Jeffrey Epstein in building these sex trafficking rings?
Absolutely, Senator. Child sex trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make...
All right, so you can see that. Let me see if I can find another one.
Would you declassify the 9/11?
Sorry about that.
DOJ should immediately move to...
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
Would you declassify?
So before I play my last clip, I just want you to understand that notice Trump, when he was asked about the other files, quick. There's no There was no other rhetoric to explain it. But when it came to the Epstein files, he's like, oh, a lot of people could be affected by it. And it was like a little bit of a hesitancy. I'll play this last video for y'all. So now you can see Charlie Kirk's view on the Epstein files. Let me share my screen.
I think the DOJ should immediately move to unseal all the Epstein documents in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah. Everything.
And
Everything except child sexual assault material.
I think every file should be released to the public the same way as the JFK files.
What's your opinion on the phase 1 release of the Epstein files? Do you think it was more of a PR stunt with Pam Bondi because she just got into office? What do you think is actually going on? And do you think that she genuinely has the files or people are destroying them?
Well, I think they got to make this right. I mean,
Right.
we as the American people deserve to have every Epstein file released with no redactions whatsoever, period. They got to make it right. And we, the American people, ran on transparency. We deserve to see the entire client list.
Yeah.
Every document the government has regarding the Epstein files, we, the American people, should have on an easy to access website immediately in a very, very quick fashion. I'm pushing for that both privately and publicly, just so you know.
Yeah.
Secondly, there probably are a lot of destroyed documents. I think that's probably the
Okay. So again, you guys come up to your own conclusions. I think there's something worth noting that, again, do you believe Trump and Charlie, are 100% on board regarding the Epstein files? You guys, y'all come to your own conclusions, as I said before. But I guess getting back to the larger thing, James, what say if we had to land the plane, like on the whole issue of Charlie Kirk, his death, conservatives versus the liberals? Like, what's your last take on the whole situation?
I want to take it away from Charlie Kirk because I want to say to people that just because somebody disagree with you doesn't merit their death. We can have civil discourse, and civil discourse is not the problem. The problem is cognitive dissonance and a stubborn, prideful heart. When somebody reveals the truth to you and they reveal evidence to you, take the reasonable and logical route and say, submit to the truth. Point blank, period. That's all I want to say. Like, you can have civil discourse, disagree, don't fight because you disagree with people. But if you lose in the civil discourse, if someone brings about something that's informative, that will change your views, that contradict your views in a truthful manner, concede. There's no shame in you conceding because it makes you a bigger person. It makes you a person that could be able to grow. So never suffer from cognitive dissonance and never have a prideful heart. And let's keep it moving.
Yeah, I think that's well said. If I had to end it all, I would simply say that, just be careful, you guys. Like, when you watching the media as a whole and you're seeing the vast majority with a particular mindset, I think it would be wise of you not to jump on the bandwagon so fast. Like, to be able to just pause and try to assess, gather as much research as possible and assess the situation. Because what I see is a lot of voices on both spectrums. And this is the reason why I personally have chosen to just follow Proverbs 11, which is, a false balance, an unjust balance is an abomination unto the Lord. When I see too many people going in any direction, I'm not one to think that that's necessarily the right thing just because majority of people are saying it. I'm going to echo what you said. I do not believe that anybody should be, extinguished or unalive because of their viewpoints. However, I do believe that we need to be wise in how we choose to exercise our freedom and liberties in this country. If you want to have the liberty to bear arms, just understand that the repercussions that come with that, because you can be unalive with somebody that's bearing arms. If you want the liberty to say whatever the hell you want, just understand the repercussions that come with voicing your opinion all the time. And, and this is not an attack to anybody, but even the concept when, I believe there was a brother here, I think it was Womanati, that would just like stand on your square. This is not me. I want to say this, and I hope it doesn't sound like double talk, but I do believe there is an aspect of you being able to stand 10 toes down on a particular subject. And I also think you also have the right, if you want to be wise and not voice your opinions. Everything does not need to be said, and it doesn't need to be said on every platform. Like if there are people that come to me behind the scenes and say, "Hey Nick, what do you think on certain issues?" I could probably tell you. But understanding the venue that you're in, like for example, am I going to exercise the freedom of speech within, let's say, at my job and express openly my distaste for, certain alternative lifestyles? Am I going to do that? Would it be wise? Would it be wise? Because if you end up losing your job, then who's to blame at that time? You see, this is the kind of stuff where it's like Yeshua himself said, "Be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove." You see, there's many things that Charlie Kirk, as well as many other people, you have the right to have your opinion. But when you want to be so bold as to voice this opinion everywhere and anywhere, okay, just be careful what comes with that. Don't feel like you need to be pressured to prove that you somehow a man and that, ain't nobody going to show me up. I can say whatever I want. No, just be wise. Just be wise, y'all. Matter of fact, enough of this. That is why, especially when knowing the fires the tongue can set. Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe in the Apocrypha, it mentions how with the tongue, you can both, it's so beautiful. You can both kindle a fire and you could stop it. And isn't that crazy? I could literally, kindle a fire by blowing it, right? With the mouth, right? And with the same mouth, you can spit on the fire and extinguish it. That's how powerful the words, your mouth, that member. You need to be wise, people. And also, I see Daniel, man, bless you so much, my brother.
Thank you, Daniel. We appreciate that, for real.
We really do appreciate you. Thank you. That's very humbling. Angelica says, this comes to mind, Matthew 26:52. Then said Jesus unto him, put up again the sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish. There you go. There you go.
Tupac said, Snoop Dogg said it. You live by the gun, you die by the gun.
Yeah. And mind you, it's amazing. And mind you,
he took that from Jesus. If you live by the sword, you die by the sword, right?
Right. But what's so interesting is notice what Jesus said. He said, put it again into its place. He didn't say discard of it. So you see, the wisdom is not like you're going to get rid of it altogether, but just understand that if you choose to engage, which in this case was Peter, which was in warfare, exactly. Just know what comes with that. Mm-hmm. Again, we have to be wise, y'all. This is unfortunate that he had to pass away in such a manner, but hey, I hope people. Let me actually truly land a plane on this. I hope people keep that same energy for all the other people that also get unalived in a similar fashion. Let's keep that same energy, y'all. Because if you really want to be on the banner of, all lives matter, okay, all lives matter. Don't make this one person a martyr and everybody else they just cannon fodder, or they just casualties of war. We didn't even go into the Palestinians and how they view them. We didn't even go into that, all those lives, right? And I've heard that Charlie Kirk's take on that. Maybe y'all could do your own research. I actually have to go, but man. All lives matter, though. All right. I will actually give you the actual final word if you have any more, or I'll close it out, James.
Well, this is James and Nick reporting live. Over and out.
Hey, please like, subscribe, y'all, and please share. That really does help. And once again, thank you, Daniel, for blessing us this day. Anyway, over and out. Shalom, y'all.